Hey Embroidery Legacy family! We have the perfect project to add a touch of elegance and tradition to your Christmas holiday decor. This gorgeous embroidered nativity scene wall hanging is perfect for decorating your home or as a thoughtful gift. Let's start stitching. The materials you need include a 5x7 hoop, 2 pieces of wall hanging fabric, 1 piece of batting, 1 piece of fabric for your hanger, no-show mesh stabilizer, fabric scraps for the applique pieces, optional puff stuff for the star, and I'll post a link for that amazing stuff below, a pair of double curved scissors, some normal scissors, masking tape. Step 1. Using your 5x7 hoop, hoop your no-show mesh stabilizer. Step 2. Bring your hoop to your machine and stitch out the placement line for your batting. Step 3. Remove the hoop from the machine and place your batting over the placement line. Now be sure that you overlap the placement by 1/4 inch on all sides. Step 4. Return the hoop to the machine and stitch out the tack down stitch over the batting. Remove from the machine and trim away the excess batting from around the tack down. Step 5. Place the back fabric over the batting and secure with tape. Make sure you place the hoop back in your machine and stitch the tack down stitch for the background fabric. Now stitch the placement line for the ground fabric. Step 6. Remove the hoop from the machine and place ground fabric over the placement lines. Return to your machine and stitch the tack down stitch followed by the halos for Mary and Joseph. Step 7. Very carefully cut the fabric close to the stitch line of the ground fabric. Step 8. You're going to want to place the hoop back in your machine and stitch the placement stitch for Mary and Joseph's inner robes. Step 9. Now place your fabric over the placement line and secure it with tape. Stitch the tack down line over the robes. Step 10. Take your hoop off your machine and carefully trim around the tack down stitch. Step 11. Bring the hoop back to your machine and stitch the placement stitch for Mary and Joseph's face. Place the face fabric over the placement stitch and secure it with tape. Now stitch the tack down stitch. Step 12. Very carefully cut around the tack down line of the face. Step 13. Stitch the placement line for Mary and Joseph's outer robes. Now place the fabric over the placement and stitch the tack down line, and carefully cut around the tack down line. Step 14. Stitch the placement line for the crib and blanket. Step 15. Place the crib fabric down first and then place the blanket fabric second. Step 16. Stitch the tack down stitch for both the crib and the blanket, and carefully cut around the tack down line. Step 17. Stitch the placement line for Jesus' face. Place the fabric over the placement line and stitch that tack down line. Now carefully trim around the tack down line. Step 18. Stitch the placement line for the bottom straw fabric and place the first piece of fabric down. Stitch the tack down line. And trim fabric above the stitching line and fringe the fabric below the stitching line. Repeat with the top straw fabric. Step 19. Stitch the placement line for the stable sides. Lay the stable fabric. Stitch the tack down line. And carefully trim the fabric on both sides. Step 20. Stitch the placement line for the roof. Lay the roof fabric. Stitch the tack down line. And carefully trim the fabric. Step 21. Now this is optional, but you can lay some of your puff stuff in the middle of the roof and stitch the star. And if you don't know what puff stuff is, it is amazing. It makes your design look 3D, and there's actually no special requirements that have to be done when creating designs. We will put a link below, so be sure to check that out. Step 22. Now you're going to want to cut away the excess puff stuff and make sure you save any extra pieces for future projects. Now make sure you take your time with the next step because it is important that the hanger is even so that it does hang properly. Step 23. Line up the folded edge of the hanger 1 inch below the tack down line and equal distance from the side of the tack down lines. Use tape to secure it in place. Step 24. Lay the back fabric the wrong side up over the top and secure it with tape. Stitch the final tack down line around the wall hanging, and there will be an opening at the bottom for turning. Step 25. You're going to want to carefully cut the excess fabric around the sides and top that are close to the stitching line. Now leave the fabric longer at the opening. Step 26. Now you're going to want to turn it right side out. You can use your point turner to press out the corners, and you can use your needle and thread to hand sew the opening closed. Step 27. If you use puff stuff on the star, you're going to want to use some warm water and a soft toothbrush to help to dissolve it and remove that excess puff stuff. You do not need to run the whole entire wall hanging underwater. After you've done this, you just leave it flat to dry. And there you have it. Our gorgeous nativity scene wall hanging is ready to bring the true spirit of Christmas into your home. I hope you enjoyed making this as much as we did. And if you like this tutorial, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more fun embroidery projects. Until next time, happy stitching!